He didn't go anywhere. Oh, it's still.
Hey, what's going on, brother bear?
Good evening, G-Man. How are you tonight?
I'm good. The HillbillYinzer podcast is rolling along. We got some fun topics tonight. We're going to talk about the Buccos' current situation. Just give our opinion on why are these guys playing where they are, and you know who's responsible, and all that. And then we're going to move on to Steelers going into the draft here. What's going to happen? You know, are we going to make any trades to move up and get an Ashton Genty or an impact player on offense? So those are our topics for tonight. We're going to get into them, but first we're really excited to talk about a supporter of ours that's going to do some great things for us.
Yeah,
you want to tell them about it?
Sure. Our presenting sponsor for the year is going to be Crawford's Black and Gold Gift Shop, folks. Tonight's HillbillYinzer podcast is brought to you by Crawford's Black and Gold Gift Shop, located in Breezewood, PA. Crawford has all the trendiest official merchandise from our favorite Steel City teams. They offer the largest selection of Steelers, Penguins, Pirates gear. Check it out at crawfordsgiftshop.com. So yes, we're excited about that. And at the end of this program, we will also share with you another surprise brought to you by Crawford's Gift Shop. Crawford's Black and Gold Gift Shop, but it is going to be an exciting package. We promise that you'll want to get involved.
Can't wait to get that out there. All right, let's talk a little bit of Buccos. Boy, it's just been a train wreck here, and everybody who follows the team knows this. So we just wanted to drill down on this first base thing because, there was a game on earlier tonight, and I know by the time people see this, it's going to be, that game will be a week ago. But, the first base situation is the biggest joke I've ever seen, and we were talking about Connor Joe being there last year and how, what's Connor Joe doing playing first base? Connor Joe is like an all-star compared to the guys the bozos were parading out there this year. And I know Jared Triolo is hurt. And I know Spencer Horowitz has a bad wrist. And they just didn't want a couple of the guys that played it in spring training to start the season there. So you know what that's left us with? Emmanuel. He doesn't even spell his name like everybody else. Emmanuel Valdez is playing first base. And tonight, Paul Skeens, is out there competing his butt off. He throws two balls over to first base that were incredible pickoff throws. They were right there, Veej. And Emmanuel Valdez, I guess he was afraid maybe he was going to make contact with the guy diving back. That's what you're supposed to do, is make contact with him and tag him out. So he short arms it, and the ball doesn't even hit his glove. Just goes all the way, to the side wall, careens up the wall. Kutch is like running in, trying to get to it. They gave Skeens an error on both of them because he didn't touch it. Just like O'Neal gave up the first hit of the game tonight, O'Neal Cruz, because he came sprinting in. He got a horrible jump, and then he jogged, and then he sprinted, and the ball came between his glove and his elbow and hit the turf, and they gave him a hit because he didn't touch it. So, why is this guy playing first base? Is this a Major League Baseball club? What gives? I don't understand.
I don't even know what to say. It's like Wheel of Fortune, baby. We just spin a wheel. Wherever it lands, that player will play that position. I've never heard of Valdez until this year, and we've seen him play first base. He even played second base and blew a double play opportunity the other night. And where does it help? I mean, seriously, why? Why wouldn't you just look at something or a player down in your developmental league? You're talking AAA. They have to have some experience. Bring them up. What are we doing? Why are we backfilling with people that are not going to make a difference at all in the future of the Buccos? Whether Sherrington and Shelton are there or whether they're not there, what are we doing? I mean, there's you could have found somebody else at first base. I mean, come on. And then you're talking about center field. And then we have a 39-year-old right fielder. Is that right? So when the ball went past Valdez, I'm sure it took Kutch a little bit longer.
Oh, Kutch tonight. Yeah, he's playing right field tonight.
Right. To get to it. No offense to Kutch. Not at all. But, I mean, still. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Kutch is not the problem. He made a great catch tonight.
I'm never going to say Kutch is the problem. Not. He's
a
baseball
player.
Yeah, he's going to solve our problem at right field this year. No one ever thought about it. He's going to solve our problem in right field. That's it. And then we're going to have a bad DH because we've got no hitting. I mean, you've seen the stats. I think everybody probably has seen the stats. The worst team in the major leagues with batting average. Their OPS is bad. Their slugging is bad. The least in home runs, up top with strikeouts. I mean, where do we go? I mean, why do we have a hitting coach? Seriously, why do we have a hitting coach? What is the hitting coach doing for us? And
yeah, things haven't improved under Matt Haig.
No, and I go back to when you sit here as a fan and everybody else who's a Yinzer out there reading the articles after the games the next day, everybody's got excuses. We got to get better. Well, no, crap, you got to get better. You should have got better in spring training. So why are we at this point in the season, even though it might be 15 games into the season, we're that bad? We're really that bad of a ball club? And then why are we not, as adults, calling out the individuals who are playing improperly? I mean, if O'Neal Cruz can't play center field, seriously, gee, man, then why don't we? And we're not going to put him at shortstop because he's going to average 26 errors. You might as well just make him a first baseman then,
Yeah,
or at least
more than that,
or put him at DH. I mean, come on. So he's a defensive liability. How good is he, and where does he help? I remember when I was coaching basketball at one point, I knew I think it was a college coach, and he would always tell me you would have players that were good that would score a lot of points. They'd score, say, 24 points a game, but they'd also give up 28 points a game. So where was the benefit from it if they were scoring 24 but they were in a -4? It's kind of like O'Neal Cruz. Where are we going with this one?
That is a good comparison because some people listening to us might remember Pedro Alvarez. And, he hit like mid-30s home runs one year, but he made a lot of errors, but it wasn't 30-something. It was like maybe 20. And people were all over him about how, he'd give back. Every time he'd hit a home run, he'd give the run back with a throwing error. Well, Cruz takes it to an entirely new level. I mean, if this was plus minus, like in hockey, he probably would be a minus. And I know they have let me ask you this. Does wins above replacement, WAR, does it count defense?
I don't think it does, but I'm not positive. I'm not an expert on it, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out, or maybe a listener can email us or put it in the chat on YouTube or something. But, if it did, he's a below WAR player. But I don't think it does. Anyway, they just need baseball. How many years have we said you just need a baseball player, a guy at every position? And,
every year.
They obviously don't have that at first. They kind of don't have it at second, even though Adam Frazier's, he's a bona fide major leaguer. But he's past his prime. And even in his prime, he was a guy, He's a baseball player. And then you got IKF. And Key Brian Hayes is a platinum-level fielder at third base. Everybody knows it. But if he plays 130 games this year, it's a big if. You're lucky if you're getting 20 home runs and probably a 260 average, maybe 70-something RBIs, very low slugging percentage. So, that's a guy that was a first-rounder that you expected to be a player. Now you got catcher. If Endy Rodriguez is out for several weeks with a broken hand, which it looked like happened tonight, and Jason DeLay got traded, And Joey Bart, I don't even know what this latest injury is, but you knew it was coming. So here's Henry Davis. Was it 3 days ago or something when he was in the minors?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be our starting catcher for the next 3 weeks, which, like we said talking earlier today, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. You know, maybe he doesn't have anybody looking over his shoulder now, and his talent will come out. Here's hoping.
Go Henry. Go Hank, baby.
Overall number 1. That's supposed to be at least a guy.
Do it, man. I mean, he's got like you say, he's got no fears. He's got no pressure behind him, and I hope he enjoys this opportunity, and I hope it takes off for him, despite what's going on with the Buccos. I just hope he tears it up. He deserves that opportunity. I'm excited for him. I really am.
Yeah.
I just hope that Matt Haig hasn't ruined his offensive output.
He seems like a good guy, and everybody's cheering for him. So maybe this is it, man. That's the optimistic portion of our program tonight. This is the birth of Hank Davis.
Hank Davis.
So, I mean, and then obviously the pitching's been good, but, you know, we don't have a closer and we don't have a setup guy. So it doesn't matter if you get to the 6th or 7th inning with a quality start, if you can't hold on to it.
Yeah, but
so
the pitching, though, G-Man, the pitching is Skeens has a good game, he has a bad game. And then he's going to have hopefully.
Well, he had one
game.
Bad game.
Well, but then all right,
he's had 28 starts and had one bad game. So
and take a look at the other guys, though. Mitch, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's your roller coaster.
Okay, and then what's the other one? Falter?
Brady Falter, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Apropos of that name.
Now Haney had a good outing, but I mean, again, and you would think with him being a veteran, they would build. You know, I don't know. It's you go back to AJ Burnett and go. Where's A.J. Burnett? Where's the next A.J. Burnett? And I don't think you're going to find
Russell Martin.
Hank's
the next Russell Martin.
Could be, but I think your pitching staff, the Pirates' pitching staff, is going to be, I think they're going to have too many roller coasters. I really do. And like you said, there's no setup and there's no closer. Even though I read that Bednar was having a great time down in Indianapolis, good for him. But that pitching staff is going to be. I don't know. I look at it and say, if you have 2 hits last night against the Reds, and it's against the Reds, and I know we're playing the Nationals tonight, which, you know, okay, not much of a ball club. They'll probably get some hits off them. They scored 6 runs already against the Nats on the opening game. Oh, on opening night there at PNC Park for the 4-game series. I don't know. I don't see them being able to have the offensive power to even keep some of these games close. If you're playing a quality team.
Yeah, the season's going to be what it is. It's going to be not going to get to 75 wins, which was, I guess, the bar over the last 2 years. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see if these guys develop at all. I mean, but really the only one two that they're looking to develop was Andy Rodriguez and Hank. Both catchers, both were supposed to come up behind Joey Bart. You know, who else are we actually developing? That's the big question.
When you said that, I was going to say, who on that team right now is a developmental player that we had?
There's another one.
We've traded for all these guys that have done nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Not we. I'm not on the team, but they've traded for guys that have done nothing. I mean, outside of Hayes, who's kind of established, but really hasn't done anything since his big contract, other than take the money. Shortstop.
He won a Gold Glove, but
they had to give it to somebody. Okay, just like
they had to give it to somebody other than Nolan Arenado.
Just like we have to
won
have
it 7 years in a row or something.
We have to have one All-Star on the team, so you're gonna find somebody to give it to, right? I mean, that's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But we didn't develop the shortstop. We haven't developed the second. We haven't developed the first. We have 2 catchers, but one, unfortunately, is going to probably be hurt now the second time around. The other one, hopefully, will take off. We haven't developed a right fielder. We haven't developed a center fielder. And our left fielder, we got in a trade and is struggling right now. And I'm assuming he's probably struggling because he's in a lineup that can't protect him.
You talking about BR?
Yeah.
Reynolds? He's playing right field mostly. I think he DH'd tonight, but Pham's been playing left field.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Which is another topic, because, you know, if you're parading Tommy Pham out there as your starting left fielder, every night. I mean, this guy has been like an Energizer bunny for every team he's ever been on, but he's never started this many games in a row. So why is he our starter? It's like Spencer Horwitz. Why when he gets back, why is he going to be our starter? He's only going to be a platoon guy anyway.
Because
The off-season moves are so depressing. We could go on about an hour about them, but let's move on to topic number 2, which is Steelers approaching the draft, which is interesting. You know, first you had the T.J. Watt social media post, which a lot of people read into it. You know, why is he doing peace out? And, you know, at first I thought maybe they told him he was going to be traded, and he kind of cryptically gave that information via social media. I thought they might trade him, the move up to get like an Ashton Genty or an impact offensive player. But you don't think that's the case, do you?
No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they'll trade TJ, even though I would say, yeah, you should trade TJ. If you really, well, they say it all the time that they really want to win a Super Bowl for Cam Hayward, and they want to win one with TJ Watt, but they're not there. They're not there this year, regardless of what quarterback that they have. If they go with a rookie quarterback next year, I don't think you're going to see a second Ben coming out of college and taking this team that's going to be another year older to a Super Bowl. So, to be honest with you, why not trade TJ Watt to another team outside of the division, maybe outside of the conference, and get something for him and do a rebuild? At the same time, I say that loosely, that I think Mike Tomlin should also be let go. He's not the right coach anymore in a league that is offensive-minded and not just we're going to run the ball and we're going to play hard defense, because it just hasn't worked. So I'm not opposed to saying thank you very much to TJ Watt for everything you've done. You've been fun to watch, and why don't you try to go win a Super Bowl elsewhere, because you may not get one here in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's a tough thing to say, but what else can you say to him? I mean, you're going to go into another year, potentially with Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph. Are you really, in your heart, do you think that they have an opportunity to get to a Super Bowl with that team? I don't think so. I don't. And I'm so hesitant to say this, but I mean, if you keep Pickens, you have DK. DK's actually Pickens only 4 years older, because that's who he was. So how are you going to work out those two? Unless they trade, potentially that could happen. You'll trade Pickens, the draft day or a couple days ahead of it to get into the second round or whatever that is. But I just don't see it. And your defense is going to be on the field all the time because the offensive scheme is not going to work with the players. And again, I'm happy to say at the end of the year, I apologize if I'm wrong. That's not a problem, because that only means that we've enjoyed a successful season. But I don't have a lot of faith in it, to be honest with you. But then I'm a fan. I'm not there. I'm not there in the locker room. I'm not there. But, you would miss TJ Watt because he's fun to watch on defense. And then even with
just think about what you could get. You really could get a quality pick. You could get one of the maybe
two
even
first-rounders at least, if not a second-rounder in the third year. I mean, he is all that and more. And
there's going to be tons of people that will hate that because they're such fans of TJ Watt. We're all fans of TJ Watt.
Yeah,
he's awesome. But sometimes you got to recognize, an asset at the right time. Like Malkin a few years ago for the Penguins. If you can trade a guy who, he's a Hall of Famer, but if we get 2 first-round draft picks and you score a D tackle, like a good D tackle and a good running back out of that, I think you got to go. You got to go for that.
You could trade away Fitzpatrick and potentially draft that.
People
that
wouldn't
safety
care about Minka going. TJ's a different story. He's a rock star.
He is a rock star. There's no doubt about it. But I also think that it comes down to, as I said to you earlier, the Steelers are like, look, squirrel, because they haven't changed their coaching staff at all. And I've told you No, I shouldn't say I told you. I've said, and we've talked about it. You got to bring Mike Munchak back. I don't understand why they don't bring Mike Munchak back. If you want to rebuild that offensive line, why are they not thinking about this and saying, this isn't obvious? I mean, look what he did with the players that he had. And we're stuck in the same pit with the same coaching staff. And does anybody really think anything's going to change with Mike Tomlin at the head? No, I don't see it. I don't think so. Again, I'm hoping that I'm wrong.
Well, unfortunately, he has to fire himself, V.
That's, yeah, well, I mean, and they don't do that, so they have to wait till his contract runs out to not renew it, which means this year and next year we have Mike Tomlin as the head coach. So 2 years go by, and you've had 2 more years of age on these ball players that it's not going to be there. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic about some of these things. They're just not going to be there anymore. They're going to be slower. Cam will probably be retired by then. So, I feel, I don't know, saddened by it for TJ or even for Cam or some of the other guys because I just don't see them getting anywhere. And it's not like you're going to say, hey, Cam, why don't you take the year off until we figure out our offensive scheme and a quarterback, and then we'll bring you back.
Rest up.
Yeah, exactly. Take the year off and rest.
Get in the cryo chamber.
So
get younger. Come
and then
back.
again, for the draft, I have no idea. They have been all over the place with ESPN's predictions from defensive line to wide receiver to cornerback to Sanders as a quarterback. Do you go with what you need, or do you go with the best player possible, like Chuck Noll would always do?
Oh, man. Got to go best player. Got to get D tackle. Shadur Sanders would be a bigger reach than Pickett, if you really think about it. Because people were saying, you had a lot of NFL analysts saying Pickett really is not a runner. But Shadur Sanders isn't a runner. I don't think I didn't watch tons of Colorado games, but I don't think I saw him run the ball down the field 10 times, in the several games that I watched. Pickett, I thought he was a pretty damn good runner in college.
Yeah,
but
I think he was bad.
That's why I'm trying to just directly compare those two guys. If we draft Shadur Sanders in the first round, that's worse than the Pickett draft. By far, in my opinion. So, man, I hope that doesn't happen. You got to get, bona fide players who are ready to play in the NFL. So we need D-line. We need O-line.
Yeah, I will kind of go with what you're saying and kind of disagree.
Back.
So you say we should pick the best player available. I look at it from the Chuck Noll perspective, and I cry because who did we pick in 1983? The big sombrero.
Oh, Gabe.
Thank you. And he ended up paralyzing himself.
Yeah,
and who did we pass on? Passed on the hometown boy, Dan Marino. Can you imagine if we would have went from Bradshaw to Marino? And instead, we went with the best player. So I understand what you're saying because I think that has worked quite a bit.
That was bad luck, dude. That was bad luck. You knew he was going to get in a car wreck.
Yeah, in a very small car, too. Smaller than he was, probably. But my point is you have to look at it, and I don't disagree with the best player, and it also has to be a position of need. And, again, everybody's screaming defensive line. I know that Baltimore rushed 299 yards, but when you listen to, DK and a couple of these people, it was the scheme. When you're having T.J. Watt crash down every play that's a run and tackling Henry that doesn't have the ball and Lamar's is going to the outside and running, you're going to give up yards if that's your schematic. And then secondly, how long was that defensive unit on the field all game? Because I've been there playing defense with a poor offense, and you're exhausted. And there's only so much that you can do with so much energy.
Yeah, and when they're on the sidelines looking at Russell Wilson who can't, they're showing the drone camera behind the line. And here it is, you could drive a truck through the hole that he had to run. And, yeah, we know he's not going to run for 20 yards, but he couldn't run for 6 yards when they gave it to him. And if you're the defense and you're looking at that on the Jumbotron or whatever they call it these days, how in the hell are you going to go back out there and try to stop Derrick Henry 3 or 4 more times when he's running right at you? It was demoralizing. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
And Mason Rudolph doesn't run. I think he's smart enough to maybe pick up those 6 yards here and there, but he's definitely not a runner. So, you gave Justin Fields away to the Jets, and is Justin Fields going to be great? No. But, I mean, you have to adopt an MO here. Like, do you want a mobile quarterback or do you want a pocket passer? Most teams want a mobile quarterback now. That's the way the game's going. But our most important need is we got to get a running back. Now that Najee Harris has moved on, we got to find somebody who can carry the rock and average 5 a carry. And, I like our guys, Warren, I like Gainwell a little bit, but those guys aren't going to be the answer in the long term.
Right.
So if they could trade up and get somebody like Genty or somebody that's just crazy talented like that, the next Saquon Barkley, if he exists, then I would do it, man.
Yeah,
I would trade T.J. Watt to get Ashton Genty. How many people are like, who the hell is this guy, man? You don't know what he's talking about. But I would do it because, how many more years is T.J. Watt going to have 15 sacks? Probably never again.
I told yes. I agree with you 100%. But if you draft a running back, if you think that's your proper strategy, then are we falling into the Arthur Smith style of we're going to run the ball, throw the ball every once in a while, run the ball, and then play defense type routine and not open it up where you're going to be, because we don't have a mobile quarterback, so we're never going to really open it up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think if you're going and you're trying to get that running back that you think that we may need, which I'm not saying we don't, by the way. I'm just saying then what schematic are we going back to? Are we going back to the original, we're going to run the ball and play defense, or are we going to open it up like a Sean McVay? And you kind of have that with Warren. We just don't know his longevity in a season. And maybe that's
a really good point, yeah.
And that's
because we all believe Jalen Warren can do it.
Yeah.
He's a stud, but is he going to be able to do it for, all 16, 18 games, whatever it is?
Right.
So they need to address that. And hopefully they will, because I think they want to be the first thing you said. Run the ball, chew up the clock, play good defense. That's the way the Steelers are going to be probably for the rest of our lives. I know that when Big Ben was flinging it around for a few years there, that things kind of changed a little bit, but we had so much success that nobody minded the fact that it was like kind of a wimpier form of football because we were winning. We were winning Super Bowls. But I think deep down inside, most Pittsburgh football fans would prefer to do it the first thing you said, which is to beat the crap out of the other team and win the game 19-16. But with Najee Harris out there, we weren't going to be able to do that. So that's why I harp back to the running back, because there's a big difference between a guy that averages 5 yards a touch and a guy that averages 4 yards a touch. Huge difference.
And if you want to go running back, I'm all in it with you. But, man, we need Mike Munchak as the offensive line coach.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, he's the guy that had, three Pro Bowlers on the line. He's the guy that can make it happen. And if you're going to do it now because you have the youth. You have the youth on the line. But they're not making any changes in the coaching staff. And that's where I go back to saying, look, squirrel, we're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about all these people. We haven't changed the coaching staff. It's the same as last year with an 0-5 ending. And is it going to get any better with the same coaching staff?
Yeah, it is like beating a dead horse. It's frustrating. And there's so many people that want to see the Steelers return to where they were, ourselves included. So, yeah, incredibly frustrating. All three teams really are incredibly frustrating in Pittsburgh. And I know we're going to talk a lot about Pitt football and WVU football and basketball. those are a little bit more encouraging, I think, or at least on the WVU side. I don't know. I can't speak for the Pitt people. Yeah, it looks like it might be a little frustrating for the Panther fans, but
Yeah.
the three professional sports teams. Wow, man, I can't remember another time in my life it's been like this. Perfect storm of just mediocrity.
The 80s.
The
80s, man. I'm telling you. From 84 on until Bill Cowher was the head coach, it was the 80s. The Pirates were brutal. The Steelers were bad under Chuck Noll, and the Penguins didn't have any.
The Pirates had a few winning teams back then.
When? When in the 80s did they have winning teams that made a difference? Not until...
I mean, they weren't World Series contenders, but they weren't like they are now. They weren't a joke.
Leland took on the team, in 80, 89? I worked for the Harrisburg Senators Double-A team in 87 and 88, 89, and 90. In 89, or no, it would have been 88, that's when Bonds and Bonilla and Van Slyke, I believe, came to Harrisburg for an exhibition game. So he took the team in 88 and 89, but he built such a great squad in 90 and 91 and 92.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm just saying, like, in the early, you just took like the 80s and threw it out there. I mean, in the early 80s, we still had a bunch of guys from the 79 World Series teams played into, at least to like 83,
But we
so
didn't do anything.
Those were good teams. Yeah, they didn't go to the World Series, but they were good teams. And
I miss those days.
There was not this particular situation, where the football team loses 5 games in a row and really was a joke. The Penguins haven't made the playoffs the last 2 years, even though they have one of the greatest players of all time playing. And the Buccos are, geez, man, it's the worst of the three, really. And it's the one I love the most.
It's sad because I love baseball too, but if it's not the product on the field, it's the Bucco bricks, or it's something else to just put another stain on an organization that at one time had so much pride, And I'm not saying the people there who work there don't have pride, or the coaching staff or the players don't have pride, but it's not shown. And the city is passionate. I mean, we're passionate about Bucco baseball. People are chanting sell a team. I mean, they're passionate people that want to see good quality baseball. At least give them an opportunity by putting a team on the field.
Well, I think that there's no doubt that Charrington and Shelton are going to be fired sometime in the next month or so.
I don't know. I'll be really excited to see Don Kelly. Is it Don Kelly? Is that who the
bench coach? Yeah, local guy.
Love to see what happens there.
That would be great. Yeah.
Would love to.
But anyway, it's going to be a long summer of analysis on the Buccos, and we'll wrap it up for tonight with those two topics, especially since my dog is getting excited about what we're about to announce next, which is we got a prize pack that we're going to be promoting here that is from Crawford's, and it's featuring several really cool items that we'll show a picture of here, and then also a TJ Watt jersey.
Yes.
So
John Crawford from Crawford's Black and Gold Gift Shop has kindly, as a presenting season sponsor for the Hillbilly Yinzers, has provided us a TJ Watt jersey. With that, we've got a terrible towel. There was a terrible towel flag. There was a Pirates or Steelers hat. There was a hat. We had a tumbler. There were a couple other nice gifts. I mean, this gift
lanyard.
This gift patch was close to $200, to be honest with you. But it was a really nice donation that John had provided us, and we're very excited to be able to display that and have people sign up to win this gift basket.
Over the coming weeks, you're going to be able to register to win this prize simply by sending an email to podcast@HillbillYinzer.com. It's also going to be on our social media platforms, but you can learn more about how to enter by going to HillbillYinzer.com. As we start to ramp this thing up and hopefully have a lot of fun with it and get people involved, this is the first of many promotions like this that we're going to do. So hope that you will have some fun with us and enter. And that will wrap it up for tonight's Hillbilly Yinzer podcast. Dog Sophie is helping us sign off. Hope you had fun.
I always have.
Catch you next time. Later on, brother.
Later.
Alrighty.